Hey, how's it going, guys, and welcome to the second episode of Loglocked. But before we dive into things, I just wanted to say a huge thank you for all the support on the first episode. From all the likes, new subs, and comments, it really seems like you guys are excited for the series. But with that said, and as some of you guys might have spotted from the clips in the previous episode, they were a few months old, as I was debating if I wanted to upload something on my channel other than my Hound Hunt series. But in the end, I'm really glad that I did, and I'm so excited to continue working on this account and the series. But honestly, guys, it's almost like Jagex knew that I was going to be making this series, as in the time between the clips from the last episode and now, they have added quite a few changes that are really going to help us out. So first up, they added a new quest below Ice Mountain, where the start of the quest is just west to the chunk that I'm currently stood in. And after you complete the quest, you do get access to this dungeon right here, where there are 10 new collection log slots to fill in, which is really going to help me out in the early game. However, currently there are a few issues with this, as first up, you do need to access Falador for the quest, which is a fair few chunks away, and also to begin the quest, you do actually need yourself 16 quest points, which with the chunks I currently have unlocked, I'm not too sure if that is possible, but yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of research and see if we can complete that quest a little later in the episode. And finally, and I really do appreciate all you guys down in the comments pointing this out on the last episode, but we can now enable the new collection log pop-up to help us track whenever we do get a new log entry. And like I said, when the clips were recorded for the last episode, this wasn't actually in the game yet. So with all that said, guys, we did end off our journey last time over at the Barbarian Village, and as I'm sure a lot of you guys are able to guess, we will be venturing into the Stronghold for our 10k cash and also 4 potential log slots, as each piece of the Skull Scepter does count as an entry into the miscellaneous log. But before we start hunting down those new log slots, I think I need to get myself a little bit more food, as I'm not sure 8 shrimps is going to cut it. So I'm going to quickly home teleport back to Lumbridge and fish a few more invents of shrimps, as I believe that is my current best source of food with the chunks that we have unlocked. So my original plan for food was to get up to level 20 fishing and then start fly fishing just east of the Barbarian Village for trout and salmon. Although I don't think there's any way for me currently to obtain a fly fishing rod with the chunks that I do have unlocked, so I guess it's just going to have to be shrimp for now. Alright, so quite a few levels later, and that should hopefully be enough shrimp for now. So before I start to go for all of those scepter pieces, I reckon it's a good idea to get all my Stronghold cash first. And because I'm not an absolute psychopath, of course we went for the fancy boots. But actually, now that I think about it, because of our current stats, gear, and food, I think we might actually have to only manage the first 2 pieces. Oh, well, there we go. There's one of them already. That didn't take long at all. That was like 5kc there. But as I was saying, because of our current stats, gear, and food, I think the monsters that drop the last 2 pieces on the bottom 2 floors might be a little too high level for us for now. Man, it is so satisfying to see that collection log pop up in action. But I think what I'm going to do quick is go grab the other piece of the scepter from the flesh crawlers before I worry about what chunks I'm going to unlock. And as I was going to say over at the Minotaurs before we got the very early right skull half, the scepter pieces are only a 1 in 33 drop from every monster that drops them, so this next piece shouldn't take too long, hopefully. So we're just about to hit double the drop rate for the second piece of the skull scepter, but on the positive side, at least we just hit 200 total. Well, like 72 flesh crawlers deep now, and I'm completely out of shrimp, so it's back to Lumbridge that we go. Hey, and there we go, just about caught it, but there is level 30 defense now, so that is base level 30 melee stats. So guys, I think that we might have used up most of our RNG in that previous episode, as we are now approaching 4 times the drop rate for this damn scepter piece. However, in the meantime, I have been having a little look over at the old school wiki, and apparently the Catablapons, or Catablapons, whatever the hell they're called, that drop the 3rd piece of the scepter down in the 3rd layer of the Stronghold, yeah, apparently they can be safe spotted, and I was planning on saving some of this cash to buy some melee defensive upgrades, but instead I think what I'm going to do is take a little trip over to the magic shop in Varrock and stock up on a couple of runes, and safe spot the Catablapons until we do get that 3rd piece of the scepter. Oh my god, and there it is finally, pretty much exactly on 4 times the drop rate, and there is the bottom of Scepter. And like I said in that previous clip, I'm going to now head over to the magic shop in Varrock and buy myself a couple of runes. And I'm not actually going to go ahead and get myself my 2 O chunks quite yet, as I do want to get myself this 3rd Scepter piece, because I've got a pretty good idea to unlock 3 chunks all in a row at once. And on my way over to the magic shop, I thought I'd pick myself up a Staff of Fire. So once again, back stocking up on a little bit more food, but there we go, level 20 fishing coming in. And when I do manage to get myself a fly fishing rod, we can now start fishing ourselves some trout. Oh, okay, so it's not quite the piece of the scepter, but there is an Addy Med Helm, and I was actually considering buying one of these things from the helmet shop in the Barbarian Village, so I'm pretty glad that I didn't now. But either way, these Catablapons are going down a little slower than I'd have hoped, and unfortunately, only these ones can be safe spotted, and these are actually the highest level ones. But there are some level 49 combat ones in another room, but yeah, you can't safely kill those. And there it is finally, with just 10 mine runes to spare, there is level 25 magic now, so when we do get our hands on some lore runes, we can finally teleport to Varrock. So even though it was definitely worth a try, and I think we did kill over 10 of these things in total, unfortunately no scepter piece on this occasion, but I will be back sooner than you guys know it to try and grab this collection log slot. So, like I mentioned a couple of clips ago now, I did have myself a pretty good plan to take off 3 chunks in a row if we did get that third scepter piece. But before I reveal that plan, it looks like I am going to have to opt for plan B for now. So with that said, with the 2 chunks that we do have saved up from those previous 2 scepter pieces, I will be unlocking this northern chunk here to take us into Edgeville, and also this GE chunk here to the east. And I know, this Grand Exchange chunk might be a little bit confusing for now, but all will be revealed later. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys have been able to guess this, but the main reason why we are unlocking this Edgeville chunk here is for the Edgeville dungeon, where there are quite a few different monsters inside, but the only ones that we are interested in for now are those level 28 hill giants, which drop something called a giant key. So this giant key allows you to take on the hill giant boss Obor, which obviously to complete the series one day, we will actually need to camp him until we tick off his 1 collection log entry, with that being the hill giant club. But for now, the only thing that we're really interested in is to get ourselves that giant key, as it is another entry into the miscellaneous log. And another really important reason why I want this Edgeville chunk unlocked, and I know this is going to sound really obscure at first, is because it actually unlocks the first iron rocks on the account. And these iron rocks are actually going to be the key to get me back on track with my plan A. So essentially, I'm going to be mining the iron ore, turning it into bars, and then smithing myself a ton of iron arrows, which I'll first use to train my range up over at the hill giants until we get ourselves that giant key. And after that, it's back over to range the Catabla ponds in the safe spot again until we do get that scepter piece. And I will be talking about my plan A little later on, but for now it is time to get mining, as I do need to get myself level 15 mining before I can mine the iron rocks. And thinking about it now, I probably should have spent my Stronghold cash on iron arrows from the range shop in Varrock instead of runes. But to be fair, I do need to train up my skills anyway, and there are actually a couple of beginner clue steps from Charlie the Tramp that do require mining and smithing. And also, being able to directly teleport to Varrock is going to be huge when we get ourselves some lore runes. And I will be banking all of the copper and tin ore, as I do need to get myself up to level 15 smithing to smith the iron ore into the bars. And obviously we will need level 20 as well to actually make the iron arrowheads. I completely forgot about this, but we actually have a nice little head start on the iron ore thanks to going super dry at the flesh crawlers. So a few invents of ore later, and there it is, level 15 mining coming in. So all we need now is the smithing level. And I thought whilst we're around the top of Lumbridge Castle, I might as well knock out the 15 fletching that we need to make the iron arrows as well. So quite some time later, and there we go, level 20 smithing finally. On the way back over to Edgeville, a quick little pit stop over at the chickens to grab all the feathers that we need for the arrows. I don't know about you guys, but this early game newbie stage has to be my favourite part of any new account. There's just so many good memories from back in the day. Whilst I'm waffling, I did just want to say a massive thank you for all the support on the first episode of the series. I think we hit 1,000 likes in just over a day of the episode going live, which has never happened on my channel before. So yeah, I'm really happy to see all of you guys enjoying the content so far. And actually, while slaughtering all these chickens, I think this would be a pretty good time to talk about that plan A that I've been alluding to. And so like I said before, I wanted those 3 scepter pieces so I could unlock 3 chunks in a row, and I'm not sure how many people would have been expecting this, but those 3 chunks would have led me into the wilderness right over to Last Man Standing, which actually has a ton of log slots to fill in. So once I go and get myself that giant key and the third piece of the scepter, I will be unlocking those 2 final chunks. And even though I'm definitely not the best PKer in the world, from having a look over at the collection log, I reckon there's at least 5 to 10 log slots that I could fill in over at LMS over the course of a day or 2. And obviously we'll grab our free bonus chunk as well for filling in an entry in the new log page. But with that said, that should be more than enough feathers for now, so let's go make those iron arrows and start working on those last 2 log slots. The only issue with this iron ore spot is there are a couple of aggressive skeletons around, but with a little bit of maneuvering, I think that we're safe for now. Okay, so I'm hoping that should be enough arrows for both of those log slots, but before we do head over to the hill giants, I think I need to train my range up a little bit first, so it's back off to the trusty goblins we go. And I completely forgot to mention as well that over at the hill giants, along with the giant key, we could also get potentially very lucky and pick up the 1 in 5,000 curve bone, which similar to the long bone does also count as an entry into the miscellaneous log. So one more hit and there we go, there's level 20 range coming in, which I reckon should be enough for now, so yeah, let's go and get that giant key. So if I'm not mistaken, I think the giant key is a 1 in 128 drop outside of the wilderness, so this might take a little while, but yeah, obviously the more range levels that we get in the process, the quicker this grind will go. So I think that we've knocked out around 70 hill giants already, and there we go, there's level 30 range coming in, so we can finally upgrade to our maple shortbow. Oh my god, and there it is. And I think that was pretty much exactly on drop rate, but there we go, there is our giant key. And like I mentioned earlier, I will be needing a ton of these keys in the future for when we do come back to Obor and try and claim our Hill Giant Club. But without overheads, I'm pretty sure that'll be a one-way street to lose our hardcore stats if we use this key right now. So I think in total, that grind only took around 2 hours or so, as the kills really started to speed up as my range level got a little higher. And honestly, I'm more excited about this than the giant key, but we did also grab ourselves 6 lore runes in the process, which is going to make getting to Varrock so much easier now. But anyway, no milking it this time. Sticking to our plan of heading over to Last Man Standing, I will be unlocking another chunk to the north. So all that we need to do now is go and grab that third piece of the Skull Scepter from the Catablapons, and then it's time to get PKing. So they're still going down a little slowly, but this is so much better than last time. So yeah, hopefully all these iron arrows will be enough to get us that Skull Scepter piece. Man, I honestly cannot wait to get myself an Avers in the future on this account, but obviously to do Animal Magnetism, that is going to require quite a few chunks. Hey, there we go, nice little milestone, there's level 35 range. So once again, not quite a piece of the Skull Scepter, but for some reason I think this unlit torch is going to be really useful quite soon, so I'm not sure if I can get one in the chunks that I do have unlocked. And something that I'm sure a few of you guys were wondering about is why I didn't opt to go for Soul Wars for some collection log slots, as the Soul Wars entrance is actually inside of the Edgeville chunk that we do have unlocked. Well, first of all, the Isle of Souls is actually located on the RuneScape surface map, which means it would have required another chunk to unlock before travelling to it. And I know that I said in the last episode that only chunks on the coast can be unlocked in this way. However, if I'm not mistaken, the Edgeville and the Pharaoh's Enclave portals are the only way to travel to the Isle of Souls, so the same rule does apply. And secondly, and more importantly to be honest, I don't actually have the requirements yet to play a game of Soul Wars, as you do need a turn level of 500. But with that said, I will be paying Soul Wars a visit in the not too distant future when I do get that requirement, as the Spoils of War reward that you can get does have some pretty nice loot for an Ironman, mainly in the coins to be honest. And obviously if we can make an entry into the Soul Wars log, then we will unlock our free bonus chunk as well. Oh, thank God for that. I was starting to run a little low on arrows, but there we go. There is the last collection log slot that I needed for my plan. There is the top of Scepter. And again, I believe that was pretty much exactly on the drop rate. So even though it currently has no use for me at all, that is now our 5th entry into the miscellaneous log page. And you know what that means, guys. It is finally time to unlock the last chunk that we need for our LMS plan. And even though I could go and get my Woodgang level up to 57 to use the canoe system to get to LMS, I really don't fancy grinding out those levels now, so we are going to be a little bit risky and walk our way through the wilderness to get to the Enclave. To be fair though, the chance of running into a PK at my combat level is pretty unlikely either way. We should be fine here. Let me just quickly get inside before we take a tumble. There we go, made it here safely. So like I said before, we do have an absolute ton of log slots to fill in here over at LMS, and the way that you obtain these rewards is by exchanging points that you accrue from playing the minigame itself. So yeah, wish me luck guys, hopefully I'm not going to be too rusty. We've encountered a little bit of a problem here, guys. So essentially, I went to go and buy my tier 1 cape for winning that last game, and apparently because I'm new to members, I need to wait a whole nother day before I can buy any of the LMS rewards. So I guess in the meantime, I'll just stack up as many points as I possibly can, ready for tomorrow when I can buy some of the rewards. So roughly around 2 hours of grinding LMS later, and we're up to 50 points already. So I believe currently, along with the tier 1 cape, I can buy 4 of the cheapest rewards from the shop so far. And plus with the bonus chunk that I'll unlock with a new entry into the log, that will give us 5 chunks tomorrow to unlock when we can purchase our rewards. So whilst we wait, I might as well keep trying to knock out as many points as I possibly can, just so we can fill in a ton of log slots tomorrow. And I forgot to mention as well that none of the rewards currently really have that much use on the account, but I'm sure in the future we'll be able to do something with them. So after a few more hours of attempting to PK, we are up to 100 points in total now. However, we have run into another slight problem, and when I say slight, this is a pretty massive problem. So you know how I said I have to wait a full day before buying any rewards? Well, that's not actually quite the case. It's actually one more day of actual time that I've spent logged into the game. And I was wondering about this before, because I thought the timer was ticking down a little slowly. But yeah, apparently this was an update that they added about a month ago now, so I guess I really need to start reading the patch notes, because I had no idea this was a thing. So I think what I'm going to do to solve this problem, because I was going to end today's episode off after buying those LMS rewards anyway, and also this does mean that I can get the episode out a day early as well, is choose the chunks that I'm going to unlock from the rewards that I will buy after the time limit is up, if you get what I mean. And yeah, I know that sounded like a massive load of waffle, but I have worked out with the 100 points that we do have to spend, we can actually spend that exact amount for 8 more chunks of the world map. So at the very start of the next episode, I'll be buying myself an ornate maul handle, a steam staff upgrade kit, a lava staff upgrade kit, a dragon pickaxe upgrade kit, a ward upgrade kit, a dark bow green paint, and finally the tier 1 cape for winning 1 game as well. So that will be 7 new entries into the last man standing log, plus the 1 free bonus chunk that we do get for making an entry into a new log as well. So in total, that does grant us 8 chunks of the world map to unlock, taking us up to 19 chunks unlocked in total so far. Now, after being limited to such a small amount of the map for quite a while now, it's actually so exciting to have this many new chunks to play with. But with that said, I might need myself a few minutes to decide on all 8 chunks that I want to unlock. Okay, so quite a few minutes actually turned into the next day now, but I'm pretty sure I know which chunks I want to unlock. And don't worry guys, I'm not going to access these chunks until I do get myself those LMS rewards when the timer is up. I'm only unlocking them now just to leave a nice little cliffhanger for the next episode. And I'm not going to be talking about my reasonings behind my chunk unlocks in too much detail, as I'm sure a few of you guys could probably guess my thoughts behind the choices. But either way, to start off, I will be taking this Alcarid chunk here and then the one south of it as well. And so next up, I'm actually going to be going for a big load of chunks in a row. So to start off, I'll be taking this chunk here just northwest of Lumbridge, then the one north of Draenor and the Draenor chunk itself, then the Falador Farm chunk, the Portstrim chunk, and finally the Chartership chunk down here. So just to make sure that I haven't been a complete numpty here, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, perfect. So to help pass all this remaining time before I can buy those rewards, I think I'm just going to AFK and do a bit of skilling around the Lumbridge chunks that I do already have unlocked, as I would like to get my wood kind level up anyway, so I can use more of the canoe system. But with all of that said, guys, I think that is where we're going to call it for today's episode of Loglocked. And as always, I really do hope you guys have had as much fun watching as I have had making this video. So if you did and you haven't yet, then a like on the video would be absolutely amazing. And if you are new around here, then make sure to sub to the channel as well to not miss any future uploads. But until next time, guys, as always, stay safe and I'll see you very soon.